Yes, I'm back and I'm going to show you physical media that I've been able to obtain in some way. This particular month happens to be ones that I purchased. So you'll notice I have a new introduction for 2026. The other thing I'm going to do is, unlike in the past when I uploaded these randomly, there was no rhyme or reason to it. Every couple of weeks, I would just do a video showing what I had acquired. I'm taking a page out of my friend Sam St. John's book, and because I like what he does a monthly vinyl finds or music finds video, and I like that style. It probably makes sense to do it each month. So here I am, February 4th, maybe a little bit late in the month, but I'm going to be showing you what I picked up in January 2026, and it's both CDs and vinyl. So let's get right into it. We'll start off with David Bowie, The Next Day. I'll show you this track listing. Of course, this is an album, and the cover you'll see is sort of a nod to his Heroes album, except it's got this white square and obviously the new album name on there. But it's an album that is sort of kind of gives you glimpses back to his glam and funk days. But it is sort of focuses on violence and tyranny. So this was issued in 2016, and it's an album that was issued actually after a 10-year hiatus. His previous album was released in 2003, and this one was 2013. I don't know what I just said, but this was 2013 actually. And a lot of, I guess, Bowie's fans figured at this point, it's been 10 years, he's probably retired, and he comes out with this. And it was kind of a relief, and it's kind of refreshing, although it is, like I said, a little bit dark with the violence and tyranny undertones. But 2013, here we are more than 10 years, like 12, 13 years later, violence and tyranny. Enough said about that. And of course, that was his next to last album prior to his death. I mean, Toys was issued afterwards, but his last album, Black Star, was issued on January 8th, 2016, which was his birthday and which was 2 days before his unfortunate passing. Next, Cat Stevens, or as he's now known, Yusef Islam, Magic Cat. And this is an album that was released in 2006, I think, 2004. I can't really read that. But it was released several decades after, because this is, as you'll see here, his Earth Tour, 1976. So this was recorded live in 1976, but not released until after the year 2000. 2004, I believe it is. And, it's got a lot of his well-known hits and more. So happy to get that. Now let's switch over to a little country. John Michael Montgomery. I have several of his albums. I didn't have this one. Now I do. Now we'll get a little bit more obscure, at least to older folks. Maggie Rogers. This is a newer artist. This is her 2019 debut album. Not a lot to see in here, but there's a track listing. She became somewhat famous after Pharrell Williams, I think it was, praised her song Alaska, which is on here. I'll show you that. So not I've listened to it. It's one that I may need to listen to a couple more times for it to grow on me. I don't know how much I'll be playing it, but we'll see. We'll see. You never know. Sarah Evans, another one that I don't know a lot of people have heard of, but I like her. I've heard her music, but I don't know if I own any of her albums. I might own one actually, but this is a greatest hits comp, which basically covers like the first half, so maybe the first 10 years of her career. I'm trying to show you that track listing. I'm not trying to show you anything else there. Um, Now let's switch gears. Patti Smith, punk poet extraordinaire, 12. And this is an album of covers. And of course, Patti does these songs in her unique style and makes them her own with varying levels of success. Are You Experienced? Jimi Hendrix songs leads off. Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Tears for Fears. Helpless. Gimme Shelter. Within You, Without You. I mean, there's some fantastic stuff on here. I've listened to it. I like Are You Experienced a lot. Everybody Wants to Rule the World. She does a great job with Changing of the Guards and the closing song, Pastime Paradise, Stevie Wonder song. So kudos to her. Happy to get that. Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys. Now we're going back, way back country, old country. This is Anthology, 1935 to 1973, something like that. Yeah. So 35. I mean, this is old country. This is, ahas and yeehaws and banjos and fiddles and good times. Released on Rhino. Then I've got what's called the Hits album, 70s Later. I'm assuming that this is part of a collection of like 70s, maybe earlier and later. Don't really know. And they probably have 60s and 80s and all kinds of stuff. Um, this is, oh, they do. Huh, look at this. Early 70s, later, early 80s, later 80s. 3 CD set. Show you that track listing. You may have to pause it if you want to read all that. There's a lot on here. You've got Roxy Music doing Dance Away, ELO, Turn to Stone, Justin Hayward, Forever Autumn. So you got like some popular stuff and then some more obscure. You've got Bill Withers, Lovely Day, Casey and the Sunshine Band, Please Don't Go, the Buggles, Video Killed the Radio Star, Status Quo, Down, Down, Sweet, Love is Like Oxygen, Barry White. I mean, good stuff. Then I picked up another sort of comp of various artists, The Golden Age of American Popular Music. I'll show you that track listing. And there's a reason I'm showing you the back of this first. Again, thrift store find with no cover. But hey, it was cheap enough and I wanted the music. So I don't necessarily need the cover. It'd be nice to have, but I'd rather have the music. Walk Right In, The Rooftop Singers, If I Had a Hammer, Peter, Paul, and Mary, Green Green, The New Christie Minstrels, It Ain't Me, Babe, Johnny Cash, We Shall Overcome, Joan Baez, Tom Dooley, The Kingston Trio, Hootenanny, The Glen Coves, um, Please Don't Sell My Daddy No More Wine, Lizzie Borden, There's a Meetin' Here Tonight, Joe and Eddie, and The Unicorn, the Irish Rovers. So, quite an interesting collection. I like a lot of different types of music. I'm not going to apologize for that whatsoever. Steve Earle, Towns. This is an album on which he pays tribute to his late friend Towns Van Zandt by covering Towns' songs. You've got Poncho and Lefty, Colorado Girl, Brand New Companion, Delta Mama Blues, all kinds of good stuff on here. So, again, happy to have it. Speaking of country, Lynn Anderson. Now, some of you may know Lynn Anderson that may not realize you know her. This is called 24 Great Country Songs, but the giveaway is right down there. Rose Garden. And the full name of that song, which was a crossover hit for her in, I believe, 1970, was, or is, in parentheses, I Never Promised You a Rose Garden. And I'll show you the song listing here, the track listing, and it's got 24 great country songs that she's covering. Obviously, Rose Garden leads us off, but we got Stand By Your Man, Blue Bayou, Listen to a Country Song, You Needed Me, We've Only Just Begun. All right, so it's mostly country-ish. Heartbreak Hotel. I did say country, right? I didn't. She did. Rodeo Cowboy, Could I Have This Dance? Talking in Your Sleep, Danny's Song, When I Was Country When Country Wasn't Cool. Now let's switch gears and continents. Yes, Johnny Clegg and Savuka. Savuka, of course, being the group he formed after Jaluka. And this is South African song. This album, by the way, is called Heat, Dust, and Dreams, which may describe parts of Africa, actually. But this is an album that he did after the unfortunate death of a friend of his in the sort of towards the end of the apartheid era. And there's a song on here called The Crossing. You'll see that second song there, which is sort of dedicated to his friend Tuda Zulu, I believe his name was. And it's basically his crossing from life into death. And the songs obviously speak to that whole apartheid, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a very deep, dark type of album. Then I've got a tribute to Joni Mitchell. Various artists covering various songs by Joni. Free Man in Paris, Sufjan Stevens, The Bobo Dance, Björk. You've got Don't Interrupt the Sorrow, For the Roses, A Case of You, Blue by Sarah McLachlan, Help Me, Katie Lang, River, James Taylor. So quite a variety. Then I picked up a couple of collections, two of them actually, that kind of go together. The 50s, and this is Back to the 50s, and the Fabulous 50s on 3 CDs, and it covers a wide array of different types of music in the 50s. Chantilly Lace, the Big Bopper. You can't have the 50s without the Big Bopper. I mean, come on. You also have Pat Boone, Don't Forbid Me. What else is on here? Love is Strange, Mickey and Sylvia. Lipstick on Your Collar, Connie Francis. It's Not For Me to Say, Johnny Mathis. The Great Pretender, The Platters. You've got Butterfly by Andy Williams. Dungaree Doll, Eddie Fisher with Hugo Winterhalter and his orchestra. Young Love, Sonny James. See You Later, Alligator. Bill Haley and the Comets. And Right next to this on the shelf was this one, The Fabulous 50s, Those Wonderful Years. And I'll show you that track listing. Again, you'll probably have to pause it if you want to see all that because, again, we got 3 CDs, variety of different types of music, Theme from a Summer Place, Percy Faith and his orchestra. You've got Just Walking in the Rain, Johnny Ray, The Poor People of Paris, also known as Gene's Song, with Les Baxter and his orchestra and chorus. You've got Eddie Anytime, Eddie Fisher, Unchained Melody, Blueberry Hill, Fats Domino, Standing on the Corner, The Four Lads. You've got White Sport Coat and a Pink Carnation, Marty Robbins, Cold Cold Heart, Tony Bennett. So lots of good 50s stuff here. And then finally, as far as the CDs are concerned, I picked this up about a week before Chuck Negron passed away. Three Dog Night. This is a 3 CD set, 36 all-time greatest hits. I've always loved Three Dog Night. Obviously, they became popular in the late 60s, early 70s. You know, I was 11, 12, 13, becoming a teenager. They were hitting it big. I remember this playing. You know, you go to your local carnival, pop-up carnival or whatever, and they were always playing Three Dog Night. You know, Joy to the World, One, Easy to Be Hard, Eli's Coming, great songs. So happy to have this. Sad to hear that Chuck had passed away because, you know, for me anyway, they all had wonderful voices, but Chuck was the face of Three Dog Night. So rest in peace. Okay, so now on to the vinyl. We'll start off with, I don't know if you can see that too well. This is the George Benson collection, and you'll see it up there on the top. Apologize for the glare, but it's got so many of his big hits: Turn Your Love Around, Give You the Night. Obviously, it's got Breezin' and The Greatest Love of All. So this is a 2-record set. This Masquerade is on here. Fantastic. If you're familiar with George Benson, that's a great collection. Kate Bush, Cloud Busting. And this is an import, what do you call it, 12-inch single, I guess. It's got Cloud Busting and Burning Bridge and My Laggin' Love on the B-side. And these are non-album tracks. And Cloud Busting is one of my favorite songs. And so I'm trying to build up my Kate Bush collection. I did have a lot of her stuff before she became popular with Running Up That Hill appearing on Stranger Things, but yeah, whatever. You know what? Like, unfortunately, it's raised the price of Kate Bush records, so I should have got them earlier, but I didn't. So I got most of them, though. Anyway, speaking of earlier, Chubby Checker for Twisters Only. Of course, Chubby Checker made the twist what it is, had everyone in America doing the twist, and was twisting until perhaps 1964 when the Beatles said, nah, we're going to take over, and instead of just twisting, everyone's going to twist and shout. If you know, you know. Also, Chubby Checker, 14 twisters only, so I won't be twisting. Not to this one, anyway. Okay, how do I show this one? Elephant's Memory. What the heck? Of course, Elephant's Memory is the group or the band that played with John and Yoko on the Sometime in New York City album, which of course many people, maybe all people, considered John's worst album. I happen to like it a lot, but it looks like they took a page out of John and Yoko's book and said, let's get naked for the cover. Two versions, anyone? This is one I just recently picked up, and this is a quality record pressing. This is Atlantic Audiophile Series, 75th anniversary of Atlantic Records. Hall & Oates, Abandoned Luncheonette. This is my favorite Hall & Oates album, the only Hall & Oates album I own. I don't particularly like Hall & Oates, but I like this album. So I liked them when I heard Sarah Smile and She's Gone. After that, I had no use for Maneater and all that other nonsense that they did. Sorry if you like them. I don't. But I like that album. Next, Emmylou Harris. And this is Roses in the Snow. Show you that track listing. I happen to be in Barnes & Noble, and sometimes they have discounted records on typically in a separate display or a separate section. In this particular Barnes & Noble that I went to, they were in a separate display, a cardboard display. There were $5 records, $20 records, records over 50% off. And I got this. Heart. And this is a Barnes & Noble exclusive on iridescent blue vinyl. Show you that track listing. And because it's color, let's pull out the inner material here. We've got credits and lyrics. Get ready, Beetle Brad and all those others who love colored vinyl. I don't think it's coming across too well in the video, but it's sort of a bluish gray marbled vinyl, which is still pretty cool. I mean, I'm not complaining. Then I have Jefferson Airplane Bark. This is one I don't see too often, particularly with all of the goodies, if you will. You've got, let's see if I can do this. This sort of, oops, bag. It's a bag. It opens up and everything. I'd never use it, but and here's the album itself. Apparently, fish can bark. I mean, look at those teeth. Probably got a bite in addition to its bark. And inside, we've got obviously the album, the record. We've also got this, which is the original sleeve, I guess. Oh, no, it's not. What you can do with the bag. And it says you can take it to the store, wear it as a hat, use it as a spat, wear it as a tie, make it airplane-y fly, do some origami, wrap it in salami, and on and on and on. So happy to have seen that and picked that up. I also got Lone Justice. more of a country folk type group. Here's somebody we're all familiar with, Sir Paul McCartney, birthday. His birthday. Good Day Sunshine. P.S. Love Me Do. And Let 'Em In. The Mindbenders. A Groovy Kind of Love. Everybody remembers that hit. Or everybody as old as I am will remember that hit. Okay. Speaking of memories, the Monkees. She Hangs Out. This is a comp of sorts with, you'll see those songs there. Sand Salesman, She Hangs Out, The Door into Summer, Love is Only Sleeping, Cuddly Toys, Words, great song, Hard to Believe, What Am I Doing Hanging Around, Peter Percival Patterson's Pet Pig Porky, and Pleasant Valley Sunday. Daily Nightly, great song, Don't Call on Me, and Star Collector. So, a somewhat unusual comp. Speaking of comps, Oak Ridge Boys. This is Greatest Hits 2. And unless you are an Oak Ridge Boys ultra fan, I suppose, um, it's got Elvira. I'm trying to think what else is on here that I don't really remember. I'd have to listen to it. Maybe some of these songs will come back to me, but I kind of feel like if they had taken the Oak Ridge Boys Greatest Hits 1 and put some of the songs from that and Greatest Hits 2 together, it would be a great album. But hey, it's Oak Ridge Boys, so it's pretty good. Next, being a big Elton John fan. I mean, Elton is my second favorite artist after the Beatles. I collect most, if not all, things Elton or Elton John band. Nigel Olsson, who of course was the drummer and is, I guess, the current drummer for Elton John. He released several solo albums in his younger days, and yes, here he is younger. And I had three of them, I think. And honestly, I don't even remember how many he's released. I would say half a dozen or less. I think it's about a half a dozen. Anyway, I picked this one up, and I was able to get, thanks to the internet on eBay, this one as well. Nigel Olsson's Drum Orchestra and Chorus. This is a UK copy. And I like Nigel's stuff. And speaking of all things Elton, Bernie Taupin. And Bernie obviously was the songwriter. He did the lyrics, whereas Elton put the music to those lyrics for most of Elton's huge hits, certainly for his classic albums in the 70s. And Bernie kind of went solo on occasion and put out some albums, and I have some of his as well. And now I've got this one. So happy to have that. This one I picked up because it's autographed by all the band members. Who is Silverbird? Don't really know, but it's signed. It was $10. I said, what the heck? And look, it includes a bonus 8 by 10 photograph inside. So let's take a look at that, shall we? Here it is. And even this was signed, at least by two of the members. Looks like Ruben and Ginger. So this guy forgot his shirt. Then I picked up, and I think in fact, I'm pretty sure I've shown a group called Smith before. Well, this is Smith again, minus plus. Yes, I like a lot of obscure stuff, hence my channel name, RobScure. This one isn't as obscure. This is the Supremes and the Four Tops, the Magnificent Seven. And this has got Knock on My Door for Your Love, Without the One You Love, Reach Out and Touch Someone's Hand, Stone Soul Picnic, River Deep, Mountain High, Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing, Everyday People. Great stuff. And then finally, and again, this is one much like the CD I discussed that I bought a week before Chuck's untimely passing. I picked this one up at the same time. I don't have all of the Three Dog Night albums. I have most of them, but I knew I didn't have this one called Hard Labor. So I bought this, of course, having no idea that a week later, Chuck would be gone. But anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry it's so long. Next month is a shorter month, so maybe I'll have less to show and it'll be a quick video. Anyway, stay well, friends. And remember, if the music strikes a chord, buy it and let it play.